And I remember what my dad said. It is early days. If you are not interested in wanting to be in this marriage, bring my daughter back where you picked her from.
Welcome to Christ Girl Podcast.
Hello, Christ fam. We are back again. And guess what? This is season 2. If you've been with us season 1, we want to say we miss you so much. But if you are new here, you are welcome to the best family you could ever find yourself. My name is Lydia MayK Kpetsigo and I'm your host. And today, look, I know you've watched all our episodes, but today we have this woman of God who's going to talk to us. He's going to talk to us about his strength. He's going to talk about the grace of God upon his life. He's going to talk about what he has been through, the struggles, but how God has been faithful. And today, look, if I were you, I'll just go for a cup of tea. Relax, because today there will be real tea that's going to come your way. You're going to talk about real life issues, real life stories, and it's something that I want you to take home. This episode is something personally I want to talk about because a lot of people are going through it. And me hearing her story for the first time, I was like, wow, this is something everyone has to hear. So today, my guest is a very beautiful woman of God. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. It's a beautiful woman of God. He's a musician, can sing, and he's Reverend Dzifa Osei-Bonsu. Ladies and gentlemen, please let's welcome our beautiful pastor. Hello, woman of God.
Hi.
Please, how are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you.
You are welcome to Christ Girl.
It's a beautiful place.
Thank you. Also, Dzifa, before the ministry, before being a pastor, you know, we know you as a woman of God. We know you that you can sing, you can lead worship and all. Who is Pastor Dzifa?
Well, my name is Dzifa Osei-Bonsu. We've hidden the English names.
Oh, wow.
So it won't fit in a book. So I'll tell you later.
He said, I want to know.
So my name is Genevieve Charlotte
Wow.
Akosua Dzifa Osei-Bonsu.
Wow. Start calling you Reverend Genevieve.
So those who know me by Genevieve are people who attended school with me.
Okay.
You know those times we like the English names more than
yes.
now we've changed. Yay! You like the Dzifa and the others, right? So I'm the second girl among 3 girls. So I have a big sister, me, and then my younger sister. I'm not too young, but and I'm not too old too. I'll tell you my birthday later. Well, I started by going through with following my parents to EP Church.
Okay.
I didn't like going to church at all.
Oh, wow.
Like at all. I mean, and so sometimes I could fake sickness.
Oh.
And you know those times we used to take chloroquine tablets. So anytime I take chloroquine, I would itch. So I usually would pretend to be sick and take chloroquine on Saturday so that Sunday
You don't go to church?
I'll pull a comb and tell them I'm itching. So I won't go to church.
Oh.
And I mean, I was born from a Christian home as usual. Then I had to go to secondary school. And the week I got to school, that week was when I started getting sick.
Oh.
I would get sick. I would be rushed to the hospital. I remember when I was in Form 2, I spent a whole term in the hospital.
Wow.
And yet, I'm not a sickler, you know, and my parents were very confused. And so as a parent, when your child is always getting sick and you're going to the hospitals and nothing is happening, you tend to look for other solutions. And so people started suggesting a lot of places to us. It's you. Wow. I mean, they would tell my parents to take me here. And it wasn't just the hospital thing.
Wow.
I was seeing things sometimes, like you literally wake up or you are in bed and then somebody is talking to you and nobody else is seeing the person, but
Really?
telling, it was a bit scary. So when I was in school, I was very antisocial, and it was a difficult situation for my parents. So moving around, somebody introduced my mom to Royal House Chapel, then IBWC. It was International Bible Worship Center. And then we were told that the pastor was powerful. So we decided to go and see the pastor. Unfortunately for us, when we went, he had traveled.
Oh.
And so my mom said, okay, let's be coming to church and wait for him to get back from his trip. And whilst we were waiting, I decided to join the choir. I knew I couldn't sing, but I just admired the way, when you were a lead singer, the way people will wave at you and things. I was like, okay, let me go and join them. So I was literally hiding at the back. Then one day, the music director just called me out and said, you, come. And take the microphone and sing this song. I wanted to die because I was extremely shy. And because of the way I was always getting sick, I had low self-esteem. I didn't think I was good enough. I didn't think I was beautiful enough. I didn't think I had anything special. So when he called me, I was like, this man wants to embarrass me. But I couldn't say it. Yeah. So I just went in front. And then he said, I want you to try this song. And I will never forget that song. When I remember what the Lord has done, I will never forget, go back anymore. So we rehearsed the song. I got home. I couldn't sleep. Because, looking at the crowd at the time and me standing in front of them, I was literally sweating there on Sunday when I got to church. Yeah. And then he was like, you can do it. I don't know why I feel you can sing it. So I was like, okay. So before we mounted the stage, this was what I said. If I disgrace them, all of us, it would be a disgrace for all of us. Because he shouldn't have put me there. But God worked miraculously that day. And so when I finished singing, I sat back. I said, was that me? So me, I can sing.
Wow.
And that motivated me to fully put myself into the choir. I became very, very committed. So committed to the point that I could get sick, go on admission, and when I'm discharged, instead of going home, the plaster behind from the drip and everything, I'll go for rehearsals. Wow. I remember one day my pastor's wife saw me and said, go home. The church is not for your father. Go home, go and sleep and get well. By the grace of God, I had a very good spiritual parents. And let me take this opportunity to just salute the Apostle General, Sam Kranchankra and Mama Rita Kranchankra. They are such good parents. They will teach you to be confident and know what you carry, And so they trained some of us. And in October, I'll be 31 years in Royal House.
Goodness, that's someone's age. That's some of the people's age here.
So, the training paid off.
Wow.
And so as a young girl who literally has been in church my whole life, when it gets to a certain age, you're believing God for, marriage, believing God for other things. And so I met this very handsome...
Before we get there, so how was the healing process with that sickness?
Oh, yes. So we were still waiting for my pastor to come. Whilst in the car, I noticed I wasn't getting sick anymore.
Oh.
Do you get it? And so I realized, a month had passed. Nothing had happened. No hospital. I wasn't seeing anything anymore. And so God healed me whilst I was waiting for my servant to come.
Wow.
And so that was how I got healed.
So that means you can see that even through your service in the church,
Oh yes,
God can actually answer your prayers.
I have too many testimonies when it comes to such healings, with me at a point in my life where I had bled continuously for 3 months and would go to church on a Sunday, literally every Sunday, to go and lead worship.
Yeah.
And then one day I was on that stage. I said, God, people come to me with stories about healing. I'm the one who is ministering in worship, and I haven't received my healing yet. And it happened one day after church. That was it. It never came back. And so I believe that, the heart with which you decide to serve God would push him to do some of these extraordinary things for you. So sometimes it is not about the laying laying of hands or feet or anointing or falling under the power, but God moves where 2 or 3 are gathered. The Bible says in his name, he's there. And when he shows up, lives are transformed. And so that was how I received my healing from there.
The heart of service.
Yeah.
Sometimes people do service because they feel like, I'm leading the church a favor. But sometimes you do it.
And sometimes we go to show off our dresses. I just saw the new dress.
I have to go to
show up for Sunday.
I will go to church. I have a new hair. I have to go to church.
We have reasons. A lot of us have reasons why sometimes we go to church. But if you genuinely decide that, listen, it's my blue dress, I will go to church anyway, regardless. And in the middle of our story somewhere, I will tell you how God showed up in my life again because of service.
So through that, how did your ministry start?
My pastor harnesses talents.
Okay.
And so the moment he realizes that you are good at something, he makes sure that he puts you to that every single time. And so he would walk into our rehearsals and then somebody is singing a song and he's like, G, I'm like, yes, Daddy, come and try this song. Sing it this way. And he doesn't encourage you to just sing. He encourages you to minister and preach the song. And so before you are giving a song, or if you are giving a song, you have to go and do a whole exhortation on the song. And I realized that most of the time, sometimes the exhortation blesses the people and touches lives more as well. And then so once the song comes, it's a great blessing to the people. And so, some people see you and then you're talking, they're like, hey, you're confident too, and all of that. It was because of that training. And so he would call you, I want you to do this song. Or, hey, what's Pastor Dzifa? Come and do this song for me. And that builds you up, And he is somebody who appreciates what you do in the house of God.
Yeah.
And my first trip to London was because of my ministry.
Wow.
And listen, there was a conference. He sent me to London before the conference. After the conference, he made me stay there until there was another program in Ghana before I came.
Wow.
And asked the pastors to be a blessing to me. And they were.
Wow.
And hey, why won't you build the ministry and continue the service? Because if a man can appreciate you this way, God appreciates you as well, And so that pushed my ministry. And then gradually I met some friends who would encourage you. Why don't you try and put out a song?
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm shy. You know, they are in Ghana, people can sing. I mean, they are great ministers. And so, because previously I said that I was battling with low self-esteem.
Yeah.
It was a bit difficult to just put myself out there. And so I started from church. Let's organize this program.
Yeah.
And then I think in 2024, I organized my first annual concert. And a live recording. And it was good.
I would like you to advise someone who is dealing with low self-esteem.
You were created in God's image, and God has given you the spirit of boldness, the spirit of resilience. Some things might happen to your life that would put you in a certain place, but listen to me. God's got you, regardless of who you are, what you carry, where you are coming from, and what has happened to your life. Because God picked in the Bible the people God used. I think a lot of them had low self-esteem. Moses was a stammerer. And yet God put him out there as a leader.
To save a whole nation.
To go and save a whole nation. And at a point, I'm sure that the people he grew up with in Egypt, I'm sure they were a bit surprised because they saw the guy as a timid boy.
Yeah.
And now the guy comes and stands before a king and says, let my people go. And if you don't let the people go, this is what is going to happen to you. And it was happening. I mean, the king's son died and he wanted the man's head, but the man didn't run away. He stayed until God used him to do what he had to do. Gideon said, God, who am I? Where am I coming from? Who? Just say,
Can I do this?
I can't do it. You know? And God didn't go and look for some young guy to bring Isaac into the world. He went to look for an old man and an old woman who thought it was impossible. Sarah was in the corner laughing at the people. And these people, they don't know what they are saying.
Yeah.
And yet God used. So if God can use these people, why can't God use you if you avail yourself? And so that's where I am. I am so confident in this God that when Pastor Lydia calls me for an interview and I don't know what to say, I will dress up and come because I know God will use me to be a blessing to somebody.
God pulls up when we are even in our lowest and prove himself that I'm the one that called you. I've got your back. You yourself might not be even confident in what you are doing.
Yes.
Am I giving you the gift? Am I giving you the talent? But sometimes we ourselves, we even doubt the same God we pray to. But sometimes God is there, right there in the midst, holding your hand that you can walk on this water.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for being a story that even in your sickness you still sang. Even in your low esteem you still sang. And now we have a whole Pastor Dzifa. You were saying something about your marriage. When we are growing up, everyone desires to marry. Can you elaborate on that?
I won't say unfortunately. I would say it was God's timing.
Okay.
Or it was my timing. And I'll get to that. So let me not say it was God's timing because it wasn't God's timing. It was my timing. And so I had gotten to a certain age where everybody around me was married. All my friends.
Wow.
You know? And I mean, when we are growing up, you know, you can say to yourself, me, I'm a nice girl, so me, they may have to marry before I see married. Yeah. You know, sometimes. And then as soon as he is married. The babies have come and you are there. You two, you are the signboard in the church. When they are singing, it's you who is leading. You know, and it got to a point where people can actually walk up to you and ask you, hey, so you they even singing, how many weddings have you sung at? Hey, when will you two get married for somebody to come and sing at your wedding? you know. And then some people would sit back and say things like, oh, Lisubanye. Oh, she's not a good person. If she was, should have met somebody because she's a nice girl. Oh, she's this. Oh, sometimes people will say that you're living in sin. That is why God is not opening doors for you. And so I sat back. I realized that, hey, the people who had gotten married, they don't even single. They don't go anywhere. You are the one who is meeting people. You are the one who is out there. And yet nothing is happening. Then there's pressure from home. What are you doing? So why are you serving God like this? If the men are not coming, go and give birth to one beer. Come and sit down. What is it? You know? Are you the only one God has called? Hey, what? You know? And so sometimes it pushes you. And so it got a point in my life, and I'm not ashamed to share it.
Yeah.
I was desperate. Desperate. And so I met somebody, and I mean, you know, we women, we have a certain criteria. Handsome, tall. Everybody wants to marry a tall guy. I don't know what. The short ones,
They are very romantic today. The short ones are.
You know, and so I had met somebody who was extremely quiet. If I say extremely quiet, Pastor Lydia, he can sit here with you.
And not carrying a word.
He obedi watem krana or strain anymore is straight here, and you are crying and people don't understand what is wrong with you. You know, like quiet, unassuming. You have to lean in to hear what he has to say. Like, please, what's it, please, you know. And so I said, Kai, this is the man. I said, this is the man from you. Me, I don't like trouble. So if I get a quiet guy, hey, Charlie, I'll be fine. So we started, he was singing in the choir with me. And let me say this, I was the assistant music director. So me, I'm the leader. Okay, you understand? Yes. So me, I can check up on anybody who doesn't come to church, you know, come for rehearsals. So I didn't see him for some time. So I decided to reach out. And I asked him what was wrong. He said he was okay and he wasn't feeling well. I said, oh, is it okay to visit? Okay. He said yes. So I visited him. We talked. Then fast forward from that, we became friends. And so, I mean, we would talk. I liked the way he was quiet, cool, unassuming. I mean, like a queen, you know, like buffalo back. You know, then we started dating. I thought everything was going fine. He had told me a few things about himself. He did an internship with a bank, and there was an issue, and so he left, and so he was looking for a job and all of that. I had started 2 companies on my own. So I started training development seminars, and then a little event planning thing. And so I was like, okay, I'm running this business by myself. And so whilst you are looking for a job, you can help me run this business. And so I remember organizing some seminars for the ministries, Total Ghana. As a young girl who had started that business, people motivated me to encourage me to continue because it was good. You know, I would get resource people from the universities and then organize the seminars. And we were using the internet place at Circle. Oh, yeah. Easy internet. I mean, and so we did it for some years. Then we decided to get married. But before that, I had to travel to London. And don't forget, he didn't have a job. Okay. And so I had a PA and another person I was working with. So when I had to travel, I had to go leave them behind. We had organized some seminars. We were planning to get married. So I didn't take the monies from those companies. I wanted to travel and come back. Then I started receiving calls from my people in Ghana. They said, oh, please, your man says that we should go and collect the monies for him. And when we said no, he was very abusive. I said, how? Are you sure? Are you sure? Let me find out. That was the first shock I had when I called from London.
You were still dating?
And we were dating. Oh. I called from London and, let me say this. At the time, I think a pound was 2 cedis, 50 pesos or 3 cedis, 50 pesos thereabout. And at the time, when you go to London for the first time and they mention the money in pound and you check it in cedis, it's plenty, papa. So I had bought calling cards and then I called. And when I called, this guy just abused me on the phone. We hung up. I said, hey, what was that? Then I said, maybe it was a mistake.
Yeah.
I called back. It was the same. She said, because you're having an affair with your guys, that is why they don't want to go and take the money from me. What is it? I said, you know what? Let me come to Ghana. He said, no. Then my parents started calling me. He had called them for a meeting.
The guy had called the parents.
I'm telling you.
You guys were still dating?
We were dating. Then he said, I'm cheating on him and that this is what he wants. And the guys, they don't want to agree. Then my dad said, are you part of the company? Do you work with them? He said, no. And I said, that's wrong. Wait for the person who works with them. But they can't just let you have them. He said, oh, they are condoning my cheating. At the time, guess what? I had rushed already, paid for wedding gown. We had started buying things. Don't forget, he didn't have a job at the time. But money was coming through me. And so I was in a hurry to get married. Hey, I had chosen colors and things were buying. So when that call, the thing happened for 2 weeks. And let me mention his name today. I was with Sonny Badru in London. And then Sonny said, gee. I said, yes. Said, I think you are making a mistake by marrying this guy. I said, oh, we'll pray about this. He would change. And then he would tease me. And he's like, nobody has romanced you for so many years. So you want to romance yourself. Take your time. I don't think this guy is the right guy for you. But before I left London, I had made up my mind to just forget the relationship, leave him. Then I got to Ghana. So, in fact, when I came to Ghana, I didn't tell him. I just showed up, only to find out that he had abused his landlady and had been evicted. So, he was staying in my parents' house. Wow. So, I said, this one, it's not light red, though. This one, there's a red.
It's deep red.
It's deep red.
And you didn't even know about it?
No, but I still wanted to go through with the marriage because I've told people I'm getting married. What will people say? And if you are watching me today, never decide or take a decision based on what people will say. Because listen, you will go through what you are going through by yourself. And so, we like to hear what people say about. And so I went ahead. We got married. And it was less than 4 months into the marriage. The first misunderstanding happened. He was violent. It was scary. So I remember my dad, it was 4 months. So honeymoon, just after honeymoon. So I remember my dad moving his car and coming to our house, and said, pack your things and let's go. Let's go home. Some people who were a bit closer to us, elders, said, no, leave your daughter to be in the marriage. Do not interfere. And so that was it. There were some businesses I wanted him to handle for me. He met with the people And in fact, there was a fight. People had to literally step in between him and another musician's mother. Wow. Because of just miscommunication. It was because I wasn't feeling well on that day when I was supposed to have met with them. I didn't know, but apparently I was pregnant. And so after that incident, when he got home, it was something. He came, he insulted, I'm a useless human being, and hey, that's what the useless the way I've collected it. If it was a trunk, can be a better trunk with yourself. Oh wow. And so when that happened, I think 2 days after, I really got sick and I wanted him to take me to the hospital. And I remember he sitting in the living room and watching a match between Arsenal and some other team be like that. And then I said, babe, please, can you take me to the hospital? He said, I'm watching TV. Find your way to the hospital by yourself. Wow. And so I called a friend. I was living around Dansoman area. My friend lived around Spinktest. So imagine the distance. So I called her. I said, please, you need to help me to the hospital. She said, where's your husband? I said, he's here. He's watching TV. I said, give him the phone. Hey, take the woman to the hospital. He said, sorry, I can't do that. What? So my friend said, Jif, make a taxi to church. You'll find somebody there at church who will help you to the hospital. So pick a taxi. So I remember covering myself and I had a car. But the car was bad because I couldn't drive. Yeah. So picked the taxi, got to church. The first person I met was a senior nurse in the church. And then she hugged me. And then she said, you're running bad temperature. Where's your husband? I said, oh, he's going to look in excuses for him. Goodness. He said, so why didn't you call him? I said, oh, his phone is off. She said, okay, let me get somebody. So she called somebody. That was all I remembered. Apparently, I passed out at the church. So I was rushed to the hospital. And I remember it was Holy Trinity. So my parents didn't know. But when they got to the hospital, they wanted the family folder number. So they were forced to call them. Then my dad moved his car and came. They came there. Said, where is that boy? They said they don't. So they checked everything. Apparently I was pregnant and I had pneumonia. And so they had to give me, it wasn't just the first, I think a month or two. So antibiotics, they said the baby won't stay and all of that. The man came to the hospital 2 days after.
Again?
Yes. Yes, ma. 2 days. So my dad called him and said, where are you? He said, I'm at home. What are you doing there? Nothing. Do you know your wife is at the hospital? She told me she was going to the hospital. And she didn't return. And you don't care. But she didn't tell me that she won't. So wow. And I remember what my dad said. It is early days. If you are not interested in wanting to be in this marriage, bring my daughter back where you picked her from. Then he came to the hospital. He came to sit down. The first statement he made, forgive me, I'm detailed, so I literally remember. The first statement was, we don't have money. You are lying here. What are you lying here? What are you doing?
Come again?
Who will pay? You are lying here. Who will pay the money? I said, don't worry. My parents will sort it out. Then he said, okay. The next morning, he came there and said he was going to look for a job. And he didn't come back that evening. I was at the hospital for about 4 days. I didn't miscarry. The bleeding didn't start at the hospital. It started at home. So we returned home. A friend of mine picked me up from the hospital. We returned home. And then when I realized I had lost the baby, I was in the washroom and I was crying. And then I remember he coming to knock on the door. Said, it is not the end of the world, though. Do and get out of that place. It is not the end of the world. This is
Oh my
So-
goodness.
Then I knew what I had gotten myself into. But I'm a pastor, and the Bible says that you cannot divorce what God has put together.
You are computer.
So let me sit in it. It is my cross to endure, And so we went through it. Then I became desperate again to find him a job because I felt because he didn't have a job. That was why he was.
Insecurities.
Exactly. And so let's find him something. And so I went to people, met. Royal House is a big church, and I sing at church. And so if I need a favor, I could. And so I spoke to a few people. Then this woman of God decided to put her job on the line and get this young man a job with a bank where she works. After getting the woman a job, now bank office work starts at 8. When it's around 7:30, we'll be listening to Peace FM Sports News at home. Wow. And then I'm like, babe, Ekobo 8, like, what are you doing? So let's sit in the car and listen. Says, oh no, the speakers, they are not here. They're saying, Sometimes I have to wake up in the morning and push the clock. If it is 5, I push it to 6 or 6:15. Then I rush. Say, babe, about 6:15. No, like, would you get ready? Okay, you know what? Get ready. Let me iron your shirt. Let's get your shoe. And he had OCD when it comes to being neat. Every time he's holding foam, he'll be polishing your shoe. Hey, he'll polish it before we go. And then when we hit the road, he wants to drive, and he wasn't a very good driver. And so imagine from Dansoma to like Accra, a high street, they can insult us like throughout the journey because he's crossing people are abusing him, and sometimes it's embarrassing. Fortunately, me too, I'm all over the place. People know Pastor Dzifa. So what happens is when we are going, I pick a face towel, and then sometimes I cover my face so that you understand. And then we are in traffic. You know these boys who come to clean the windscreens? Oh, he will remove his coat right now. He's going to fight.
Hey, on the way to work.
Sister. Then I'm sitting in the car because I need the car to go and do my business. So let me drop you. And then, so that happened like so many times. So one day we're going that again around the First Light area. Those who know First Light very well, Accra Academy is right there. There's a U-turn around that area. There was a sports pickup there, and he was speeding. I was like, babe, I'm afraid the way you are speeding. He said, hey, are you a witch? What is it? You are negative. Everything. So everything. Then he ran us into the car. That was how I lost my second baby. He got this. I started bleeding. And for some reason, something pushes him to do things until something happens. Something tragic happens. And then he'll come and kneel down. He'll break down and cry. Like, is there demons in my house? We don't have demons in our house. Just something. It was, service will be going on at church, and then they'll come and call you out. Pastor Dzifa, your husband is fighting outside. And then by the time you get there, he was tall.
That same quiet guy.
I tell you, he was tall and skinny. So by the time you get there, they're holding his leg. Can you imagine?
Being a pastor, your husband is fighting outside.
Then a third pregnancy happened. And it was the same. It was the same. Can move a car. And then I'm like, I have this, I think God has blessed me with something. My intuition is sharp. And so I literally can feel that something is going to happen. So I'm like, oh, you know what? Where you are going, why won't you pick a taxi and just go? Then he's like, what is it? Are you the only one who has a car? Who has bought a car? Why are you loading the car over? And so you move the car. And then in 1 hour or 2 hours, when he calls, the first thing I say, are you okay? Is it not that stupid guy who crossed me? And I said, so are you okay? And then he goes like, I'm okay, but the car is sport. It's sport. I'm like, okay, so where are you? And then he would tell me where he is. And I'm like, okay, I'm getting a taxi. I'll join you. I see, there were so many times my car was impounded at the police station because the damages, how much. Then I thank God for his father. But unfortunately, they didn't treat me well because his dad told me 2 months to our wedding and said, after meeting you, you are such a good person. I think marrying my son is a mistake.
Wow.
2 months there. We have shared cards already. You can't bring me this news at this time. I said, we'll pray. His brother called me from outside the country and said, I think you have made a mistake by marrying my brother. I said, there's nothing I can do.
The signs were there.
Everything was there.
They told you about.
Oh, there was an incident, a very interesting one, where we weren't married. We're going to get the invitation cards. And we were driving on the Dansoman Road. And then he wasn't driving well. No, when I got back from London, he had spoiled the car. So I had taken it to the workshop, fixed it. 2 days after we brought the car from the workshop, this guy was just running into potholes. I said, hey, my heart. When you have a car and you are driving through potholes, it's like your kidney is about to remove. Because, the money that has gone into that maintenance. And so I was like, I beg you, would you relax? If you know the Dansoma Road, it's a very busy road. In the middle of the road, the man applied the brakes, so opened the door, left the door open, and picked the taxi and left. So I was embarrassed. So and I checked my left and I checked my right to see who is watching. And then slowly got out.
That's how you were a pastor?
Oh, yes.
And she knew?
He's a member of the church now. And then I drove the car nicely as if nothing had happened. Only to go and meet him in my house. And he was sorry for doing what he did. Not just that, our invitation card, the day it was given to him, he was sharing it. I said, oh, let the counselors pray over it before we give it out. He got upset. He threw the card by the road. You know warehouse, main road. As if you're going to circle.
I threw it.
Threw it on the floor, so I went and collected. But still, I had to be married. You understand? But there are young ladies who are entering into marriages like this. And they are beating them blue black. And then they are getting people like the beautiful lady who made me up to make them up to go to church. And if you are listening to me, as the leader of the abused women before, get out now. Because your life is in danger. Because these people, they will not change. A man will change if he wants to change and with the help of God. And so if you are going through today, if they slap you small and he says sorry, and you think that is the end of it, my dear, that is the beginning of greater troubles. Sometimes if you're a pastor or a lady pastor in ministry, people come to share what they are going through. Yeah. They don't want to know what you are going through because you are not supposed to have any issues. You are not supposed to go through anything, And sometimes these men and women of God die with these secrets, these heaviness in their hearts. And yet we sit back and we praise them for who they were in our lives. and so if you are also a member and you are watching a pastor like me, please have mercy and pray for the people who lead you, because sometimes the craziness we go through, we can't come out there and put it out there. And so pray for your leader, pray for your pastor, pray for your pastor's wife, pray for your pastor's family. Make it a habit of praying for them, because if they are doing well, you will do well, because they'll give you good counsel, And so it was a difficult situation. And I mean, my spiritual parents never deserted me. They stood with me.
Sure.
I remember the number of times my pastor had to call him, counsel him. And he would agree and apologize right there. And then we can sit in the car and then he would tell you, he has said what he has said. Oh, me, I will do what I want to do.
Wow.
That it was. And so I had 3 miscarriages and I thought that was the end, And he would say things like, oh, I did you a favor by marrying you. It got to a point where I believed it, because I had literally gone into stress and depression to the point where in my marriage I weighed over 146 kilos. Like, it was that bad. I mean, in my house, I'm a brony now, you understand? But I had become so dark to the point that I was asking people to show me what cream to buy. And because I had darkened, I was looking miserable. I was huge. It was uncomfortable. It was depressing. I couldn't sleep. Around that time was when these series had just started coming. And so if you know 24, the series 24, me, I watched everything, because I literally watch it till morning, because you can't sleep. Now, for somebody who didn't have a job, he won't eat stale food. He wanted his food fresh.
That's right.
And so you cook in the morning, you cook in the afternoon,
you cook in the evening.
You cook in the evening. It is your money.
I mean,
have you seen cocoa tea before? Milo cocoa.
Yeah.
Like, the Milo is so thick, and we'll pour like half of the ideal milk, the big one, half of that one. Then the Milo is like ice. It's like, I have and it's tea bread.
The hot one as well.
And you have to serve him, and he will tell you what time he wants to eat. For somebody who didn't have a job. I have a pastor friend, and I'm sure when he sees this thing, he will come and laugh at me. And another pastor, as for him, you know him, Emoji.
Yeah.
Emoji was a very good friend, who was very close. He was part of people who stood with me when I was going through that. And so they're like, when Jimmy, the two, there was, then the other one was like, what do Jimmy there cool? Like, and I'm like, no, you guys don't understand. If you want your peace of mind, you will let him have what he's asking for.
And that's it.
So that you can have that peace of mind. And so I will call. Baby, will you eat yam? No. Will you eat rice? No. Will you eat? No. What will you eat? I don't know.
That's right.
I say, I'll call you back. Baby, will you eat beans? No. Do you want Auntie Muniwache? Then he'll say, yeah, man. So he lost the job.
Oh, yeah, I mean, obviously.
There was one accusation. I was managing a few people. God blessed me with friends like Fifi Folsen, who introduced me to certain people. I was managing their music. And I remember going to Ashaman, from Dansoman to Ashaman with an artist. And then he had finished ministering. So he came out and we were talking. Then he put his elbow on my shoulder from nowhere. This man just showed up. We are cheating with my wife at the place. It wasn't a church we knew. We were invited. So you can imagine the embarrassment. I was literally cheating with every man in my life. And so he could come to church and then somebody would go like, Pastor G, blah, 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 blah. See, look across the street. You see the big tree across the road? Isn't that your husband hiding there to check who you are talking to? And then Papa, you see him hiding there. He's watching to say, hey, who are you talking to? Hey, I've caught you.
Wow.
It was hell.
Wow.
And so I had to start announcing literally everywhere I was. Babe, I just sat in the car. The car is blue.
The number places.
So we are coming. Hey, we just a goat just crossed us like right now. A certain woman just passed. She's wearing red. Okay, so right now they have got it to a roundabout. I don't know the name of the roundabout. It was sad. I'm laughing about it today, but it wasn't funny at the time. It wasn't. And went through that. I remember one day I was supposed to have sung with the choir. Then he removed the terminals of the battery. Said, I'm not going to church today. I said, why? He said, I'm cheating with some boys at church. And the boys were a new group that my pastor had asked me to oversee. The oldest in that group was about 18. And I was, yes. And he said I wasn't going to the church. So I had to call somebody to sing the song for me that Sunday.
Where in the moment did you know that I can't do this again?
Oh, I didn't know. Sweetheart. I'm a pastor, and that's the thing. You're dying, but what will people say?
You're a pastor.
Nowadays, people handle divorces better than a few years ago.
So when was this?
2010, 2011, thereabout.
More than 10 years ago.
Yes. About 14, 15 years ago. You understand? And so, what would people say? Unfortunately, he was there. Those men where like you share your secret or you would do concern about somebody, and then by the time you have a misunderstanding with him, you go and tell the person. So the last time when she said she didn't have money, she said she had money, but you like that. So she didn't give you that kind of thing. And so it was difficult. I couldn't open up to people. People see you in a certain light. Hey, angelic voice. You're coming to sing. Hey, you're going through this thing. It is you. Now, the other thing was the few people he had spoken to felt that because I was a pastor and he was just an ordinary member, I was trying to pastor him at home and be a leader at home, but it wasn't that.
Wow.
And so it was difficult to share your story or even talk to somebody about it. And like I said, the people who stood with me at the time was my pastor and his wife, my parents, and his dad. Surprisingly, his dad stood with me. Let me shock you. He called me last week to check up on me.
Oh, the dad?
Yes.
Wow.
And it's been 14 years, 15 years. He still calls me.
Wow. So during that season, did you ever ask God why?
I did. I was upset. I was upset with God because I felt I had served.
During when you were married to him or after?
When I was in it and everything was happening. And so I remember confiding in one of the ministers, gospel ministers, who is very, very close. He's like a brother. And so I was complaining. And I was upset. I said, I'm upset with God. So out of the men in church, God decided to give me this one. After I have served in the church and married in church and didn't go out there to go and give birth. And then God brought me this. Then he said, Jif, you are getting something wrong. Did God give this to you, or you decided that this was what you wanted? He said, did you see the signs before you got married to him? I said, yes. Then he said, then you have your answer. So it's not God. Now we need to pray and ask God to have mercy on you so that you won't die in this. Because, I mean, at that point, it was difficult. You know, it was really difficult. It was. When that happens, I mean, it affects your life, your ministry, your health. Literally, I was just going in and out of the hospital randomly because there was something going on with me at every point, you know. And so I knew I had made a mistake. And so my prayer was, God, have mercy on me. But the other prayer was, what do I do, or where do I go from here? Because, listen, divorce wasn't part of my conversation. I hadn't thought about it. But it was scary for me because I could ask questions like, so how long am I going to be in this? Maybe I'll die out of it, or maybe unless he dies, then I can be free. But looking at the person doesn't look like somebody who would die. No. You understand? Very healthy. And so, am I in this thing forever? But what happens from here? And so there were some elderly women in the church who were quite close, and they had noticed. So some of them pushed to ask. And so I remember this nurse in the beginning
Who sent you to the hospital?
She apparently reached out to my pastor and said, your daughter is a pastor. She won't leave this marriage until you say something. And so we have to do something. So I remember my parents coming to the house. Let me rewind a bit. And that he didn't even know anything was going on. What he knew was, he was verbally abusive and, misbehaving, and he would call him to order and warn him and all of that. Then the last straw, I was 4 months pregnant.
Yeah.
And he said, I had texted somebody, and in the text from where he was standing, he saw that I had said, I love you to the person.
Wow.
And so I was cheating on him. I said, I'm not cheating. So I was lying on the bed, and then he just walked up to me. He said, give me your phone. And I think he thought I was going to resist or hold back the phone. And so he knew what he wanted to do already. I think that was what it was, because when he said, give me your phone, and then I handed over the phone, and then he looked at the thing, said, married one, you are telling somebody you missing. What? Before I could say Jack, the man had climbed the bed, and the next thing was his foot hitting my stomach. And so I started screaming, like literally screaming. And so there was a young couple behind next door. I remember the guy entering the place and pulling him off, like pushing him off, slapped him a couple of times. And then when the guy opened his mouth, this was what he said. It is not your wife who can't have children like you said. You are the one killing your children. And you were a murderer. So by the time the guy's wife came into the room, held me from the floor, and I got up, there was blood. So the guy said, give me, where's the car key? I said, it's with him. And then I had bought a new car. He had the car key. So the guy said, give me the car keys. He said, no, it's a new car. The blood will stain the seat. The car. Yeah.
The car that is not yours.
So we should get a taxi. So before the guy would argue with him, his wife was already out there, stepped out. We lived close to the roadside, got a taxi. They put me inside the taxi, rushed me to Kolibu. It was 2 a.m. Then we had to wait for the doctors to come. Goodness. I needed to do a scan to see what was happening.
Yep.
By the time all of that was done, they said it was incomplete abortion. And so they had to do DNC. And anybody who has experienced miscarriage before, I think it's more painful. Right. So I was lying on a bench at Kolibu Chinat, I remember, and I was bleeding. And he was at home. I had a doctor there, so my doctor called him and said, if you don't want her, I'll marry her because you have a good thing, but you are too stupid to realize what you have. And so my doctor had closed from the morning shift, but he wanted to stay. And so I was at Chinad, I was bleeding, and they said they had to insert cytotech to, like, literally, yes. And the doctors first had to go there, like, check every hour or 2 hours, and that was painful. It was painful. And it was more painful because the one who caused the problem was sleeping at home.
Didn't care.
You understand? And then there was a pastor friend who, according to him, we heard later, he said, that pastor got me pregnant and I was trying to abort the child. It was that pastor who got me pregnant. He was the one who was at the hospital and the doctors were sending him, go and buy this, go and do this. And then, so I had to be at the hospital for some time. He didn't come there.
No, you want.
Not once. I was out. When I was leaving the hospital, I remember when the day they were doing the procedure, that day, I was in too much pain. They wanted me to wait till the next morning. And listen, the nurse was mopping the blood with, not the pad, the cotton wool, the one, the big one. That was what. And then she said, she's losing too much blood. And that day, on that bed, I said, God, if this is what I'm here to do, I want to die because I'm tired. Hey, one marriage, like one bit, I'm tired. Then my doctor was like, I know where you are. I know where you are. Cry if you want to. I said, I won't cry. He said, don't cry. Don't cry for anybody. So I got out of the hospital after some time, only to go to church. And guess what? People were, they said she got pregnant for the pastor, then she went to abort. And it wasn't painful until a few weeks when I thought the bleeding would end. And then 2 weeks, I was still bleeding. A month, I was still bleeding. 2 months, I was bleeding. Then I'll go to the hospital. In fact, I went to some hospital, I won't mention the name. They said, they think I have cervical cancer.
Oh, wow.
Even if they say you have typhoid, you are not able to sleep, then they tell you have cancer. I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat. I was tired. Then a friend of mine was like, no, call your first doctor. So I called the doctor. I said, we've run too many tests to not have missed that. And so that's not it. You know what? Run another test. And then they realized that they didn't evacuate the blood, all of it. So I was just walking about bleeding. And Pastor Lydia, I could go around when I have to go to the hospital. I carry between 8 and 10 panties. And I was carrying cotton wool because when I showed you some pictures, it was that bad. When the blood drops, it soaks literally everything like that. So I go to church carrying that. Sunday, I go and lead worship. And those who sing, you sing from your stomach. By the time you finish singing, the drops of the cloths. But I said, this is what God has asked me to do. If I can serve God, the woman with the issue of blood for 12 years still had faith in God. How much more me, who is a pastor, has seen God work miracles and done amazing things. And then I say that, I'm tired, so let me leave church. I said, other people have brought their problems. Other people have brought sicknesses. Other people have brought cancers, and you healed it. Clot of blood is what you cannot do. And so I said, God, I'm here till I see my healing. I experience my healing. And so I would go to church. And when that happens, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I'm in bed because of pain. So I started, someone introduced me to a hospital in Terma. And then the doctor, after the scans and things, said he'll give me some injections. He started giving me the injections. And then the bleeding stopped, but I wasn't menstruating again for some months. Then that one also became another issue to deal with. Now, guess what? In the midst of the bleeding, this young man, because when I step out and I come in, I have the bleeding panties. I soak them. So I think I put the panties in a bucket. And this young man carried my bleeding panties to church.